Good evening. The man I'm about to introduce is not a stranger to hate. In fact, he is a Rhode Island resident who has come face to face with the byproduct of a hateful government, one which does not extend equal rights to its citizens. We invited him to speak tonight as a representation of the hate that has clearly plagued this city for the last decade and beyond. This is the same hate that Governor Carcieri was obviously trying to protect the sanctity and tradition of when he extended his veto power to this bill. Please welcome Mr. Noah Schwartz.
Thank you. Exactly 10 years ago tonight, November 19th, 1999, there was another vigil off of Boston Street where I was invited to speak. It was called Stop the Hate and was organized to protest the gay bashing my friends and I experienced downtown on September 19th, 1999. We were attacked in a backlash reaction to the first anniversary of the tragic Matthew Shepard murder. Matthew Shepard was a college student who was tied to a fence in Laramie, Wyoming, tortured and pistol whipped until his skull cracked open. When found by a passing bicyclist 18 hours later, the only parts of his face not covered in blood were where his tears had washed the blood away. Every anniversary of my attack, I am forced to remember his story, which seems to magnify in intensity in my mind as I get older. Matthew Shepard was young enough to be my son. I can only imagine the grief of his father. Imagine if he was unable to recover his body. But here we are, exactly and precisely 10 years later from that Stop the Hate rally, and what has been learned. Fag is still a pejorative. Gay people are always considered gay people and not just people. I met Governor Carcieri on a few occasions. He always seemed a likable guy with a comforting demeanor. But the governor spoke out against gay marriage last month in Newton in the most reprehensible terms in which he gave license to the haters. His remarks changed the way I felt about him, especially because he said what he said so close to the 10th anniversary of what happened to me and my friends and the 11th anniversary of Matthew Shepard's death. If he had refused to sign this bill, which we are mourning tonight, and not said the things he said in Newton, I might give him a pass about this being a bad bill. But all in all, the governor's actions are of the kind that will cause more of us to suffer emotionally and physically. The governor and I shared a mutual friend who passed away last year. As a matter of fact, this man's yahrzeit, the Jewish lunar anniversary of his death, will be this Saturday, the day after tomorrow. At the funeral service, when his wife, the love of his life, a stunningly beautiful person, walked in, I couldn't believe how the grief took its toll on her. Imagine that they could never have married and she were unable to claim his body. Imagine the grief of Mr. Goldberg in his circumstance. Frankly, I can't, and I don't know if I want to try. The governor gave one of the most beautiful eulogies I ever heard at this man's funeral. I'll never forget the way he described this man as a giant heavenly body who drew everyone he knew into his orbit. We are all heavenly bodies. We all exert the same pull on each other and the universe. But gay people are less than second-class citizens, even in this great country of ours. And what the governor has said and done has set us back 11 years, 2 months, and 14 days to the day before Matthew Shepard was horribly tortured as he pleaded for his life until he could no longer speak and left to die. To the days when people thought that gay people deserved absolutely nothing, not life, not liberty, not pursuit of happiness, just because of the nature of love. Good luck in all your endeavors, Mr. Goldberg. May God bless you and us all.
Good evening. I want to thank Mark Goldberg, who began this fight. Unfortunately, you began this fight alone, but we are all with you. Lieutenant Governor Elizabeth Roberts for supporting this event and speaking at this event. Representative Frank Ferry for being a strong ally and allowing us to read your letter. I want to thank all the legislators who supported the bill. I want to thank Providence Equality Action Committee Queer Action of Rhode Island, Marriage Equality of Rhode Island, and Alibi Presents for spreading the word about this event. Thank you to Jeffries on Broadway for donating the beautiful funeral flowers. Thank you to Chris for the PA, and thank you all who have supported us. Thank you. As Joe mentioned earlier, this was a complete grassroots effort. 8 of us were behind this event. We were just a group of people that felt angry and empowered enough to do something about something that we felt was wrong. Many of us had not even met until last Saturday. We are a group that consists of males, females. We identify as gay, straight, and bisexual. We are professionals, and we are students. We feel as though that this is not just a gay issue. Shame on you, Governor Carcieri, for making this a gay issue. And shame on you, Governor, for using fear, homophobia, and religion as your main political tactics. Governor Carcieri, can you imagine being in your darkest hour, fighting with a morgue simply to obtain your loved one's body? No, you cannot. Governor Carcieri, can you imagine your companion's family that are estranged from your companion coming into your home and dictating funeral arrangements for your partner? No, Governor, you cannot. Can you imagine being at the love of your life's funeral only to know that their final wishes were simply dismissed due to some politician's view on what is morally acceptable and morally unacceptable? No, Governor Carcieri, you cannot. And why can't you? Because you have those rights and you constantly take them for granted, and you consistently withhold them from those who you deem immoral. Governor Carcieri, I believe the whole state, if not the whole nation, thanks to Stephen Colbert, is aware of your homophobic opinions, and you use this bill as a platform to promote that homophobic agenda. This bill should have nothing to do with homosexuality, and it should have to do with letting people maintain some sort of dignity in the event of their death. But tonight is not the death of us. Tonight is not the death of any specific community. Tonight marks the death of our apathy and the death of our silence. Tonight marks our resurrection. We will fight harder, our voices will be louder, and our presence will be greater. Let's look forward to the end of a discriminatory administration and the beginnings of an administration that works for all of the people of Rhode Island. I ask that all of you join us in this fight. This night only marks the beginning of what needs to be done. Never again will a person have to fight alone like Mark Goldberg was forced to. We must all come together for equal rights. We need to do this without any regard to race, gender, sexual orientation, or religious creed. Let's not let a governor divide us and create issues based on things such as sexual orientation. We must come together as a unified state. We should have a governor that works for us and with us and not against us. We will no longer tolerate a governor who goes against the General Assembly. We must all call and write our legislators and make sure that they are committed to overturning the governor's veto. The legislators of Rhode Island must understand that if they don't fight for the people, then they will lose the people's vote. Tonight, a small group of people, not an organization, not a special interest group, not a political party, brought each and every one of us together. It happened because we believed that if we felt strongly about something, we could create change. I ask that when you all leave here tonight, you look within yourselves and do the same for what you believe in. Thank you. I also ask that you sign the guest book. We will be hand delivering it to Governor Carcieri's office tomorrow morning. And I ask that you join us at a reception at RERA. Thank you.